So if we talk about the physical learning environment, it's a chemistry classroom, therefore we have chemistry lab benches. Because we conduct chemistry experiments in the room, I tell my students always to assume there's broken glass on the floor, always assume there's potential chemicals on the lab benches. So it's not as homey or comfy apartment pad as I would like it to be, as say in a kindergarten classroom or a first grade classroom. However, I compensate for that. We play a lot of music. The way I see it, 90% of these kids' existence, these young adults' existence, outside of the classroom, they've got music going on. Either through their computers or iPods or what have you. Music is a key part of human existence. It has since even prehistoric periods. So my classroom environment, one, whenever possible, I have music playing. Two, I want the classroom environment to be relaxed. I want it to be student-centered, and I want it to be fun. So, for example, we conduct psychodramas. Psychodramas are psychological reenactments of chemistry. And so students act as elements, atoms, compounds. We do psychodramas about chemical bonding. And so if you were to come visit my room on a random day, for example, you might see us enacting covalent bonding, covalent chemical bonding, covalent, cooperate, share. And so the students share the electrons, or ionic chemical bonds, where one element steals electrons from the other element. So I tell the students, ionic, I want it, I take it. And they act it out. Where the poor victim, the cation, has electrons, and the anion, the bully, comes and takes them. And so the learning environment for me is one where students don't passively get exposed to words and black and white text and the chalkboard, which I hate, but instead they live the content. They act out the content. We play with the content, because when a person, especially non-emotionally resonant, completely arbitrary, factual stuff, a young adolescent is going to go in one ear and out the other. If it's something that they've laughed about at least once, something that they've smiled at least once, something that they have physically engaged in at least once, it may not make sense, but they're going to remember it. And when I tell students corny lines, cations, for example, there are positive cations and negative anions. And I tell students, cations, cat, are positively charged. Positively, meow, cation, meow. They're positively charged. They remember that. They remember that. I have students who graduated years ago, and they remember, Ms. Gay, remember you used to say that cations are positively charged? When I was in college and we were doing freshman chemistry, I kept telling my friends that like everything that's positively charged is a cation. They say, how do you remember that? Because it's positively charged. Meow. So the learning environment for me is one where if I'm not willing to laugh and smile and be silly once in a while, then I'm going to make class boring for my students. I'm going to make the content boring for my students. And you know what? Why inflict that on a young person who's going to soon become a voting member of my community, a taxpayer of my community, someone who might be on a city council or school board or an advisory committee in my community? Why would I want that? So that's why my learning environment is the same kind of learning environment I would want for any of my 3 own biological children. Because if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for someone else's children.